my name is Joey and my partners are Lilani and Cassandra. We will be discussing all the important characteristics that make up Spanglish.
So first, what do people assume Spanglish is? Some common responses are a mixture of Spanish and English, like muchos thank yous. Another response is Spanglish is English speakers knowing a little bit of Spanish, or some people consider Spanglish Spanish slang, like aguas, which means water, but people use it as a slang to mean watch out. And lastly, people believe it is improper Spanish. Although these responses may seem correct, they are not.
Because the linguist's definition of Spanglish is a term that people use to refer to three different phenomenons, which consist of transfer, loan words, and code switching. Transfer is when the structure of the language changes. To elaborate, it is when the grammatical structure of language A is transferred into language B. For example, in English we would say my blue shirt. The adjective comes before the noun. However, in Spanish we say mi camisa azul, so the adjective is after the noun. But when speaking Spanglish and are using the transfer phenomenon, we say mi azul camisa, so the adjective is before the noun, but it is in Spanish. Next, we have loan words, which are words borrowed from one language but spoken with an accent. For example, in English we say carpet, and in Spanish carpet is alfombra, but in Spanglish we use the loan word phenomenon and say carpeta with a Spanish accent. Lastly, we have code switching, which is considered a skill by many linguists. Code switching is interchangeably using two languages. In order to master code switching, it requires the person to be fluent in both languages. An example would be, I am going to mi clase de español. Code switching has many purposes. It can be used to emphasize or to show more emotion.
How do people feel about Spanglish? Some people feel that Spanglish is a lazy way to speak, and those who use it have poor communication skills. Others get offended by those who speak Spanglish because they feel that their language is being made fun of or even being mocked. Lastly, some people take pride in speaking Spanglish because it is what they are used to hearing, so being able to speak Spanglish is an accomplishment to them.
Some may wonder who invented Spanglish, but Spanglish is not an official language. It is actually considered a dialect. Now, it was not thought of by a person, meaning someone didn't sit down and create a Spanglish dictionary. It just occurred naturally. People began to switch from English to Spanish and vice versa, which shows how language is always changing. So this evolution leads to new words, new pronunciation, and new meanings. And because people around catch on to the evolving dialect, it becomes normalized.
Now, how is Spanglish used and why is it important? Well, to start off, Spanglish is commonly used in households. For me, when I speak to my grandma, we both have trouble communicating to each other because she doesn't understand that much English and I don't understand that much Spanish. So instead, we compromise and speak Spanglish to each other to allow us to have conversations. Not only is Spanglish used in the household, it is also used in the workforce to communicate with customers and clients, and is also used when traveling to different countries like Mexico, where Spanish is their official language. Spanglish is also used to translate novels in Spanish, like Elon Stavins translated Don Quixote. Spanglish is important because it is an evolving dialect or a different way of speaking that could evolve to become a different form of Spanish.
Lastly, I'm going to discuss Elon Stavins' perspective of Spanglish. He believes that Spanglish is a new language and feels that it is important because it applies to a large portion of the population. He says Spanglish is a creative way of saying, quote, I am an American and I have my own style, my own taste, and my own tongue.